the entire gear set, which you kind of can in this game. It's just not as detailed. But you could also change your moves and everything else. But in this game, you can't do most of that, right? You can change like one item and your clothes. And Injustice 2, like, don't even get me started, dude. Like, Injustice 2's gear system was fantastic. Like, I loved their gear system. But this game, it's just not doing it for me. Now, if they offered something that was a legendary status, crazy power skin, maybe I would buy that. Maybe they offer something like special intro and outro screens for your characters. Maybe they offer certain themes for a character where all of your abilities now are a different color, similar to what the Raiden skin looks like with the red lightning. I would appreciate if other characters had the same treatment, where you could buy some themed pack or something where this character has a brand new skin, it's fully functional, everything looks great, and all of the colors change on all of their moves. That would be awesome. I think that would be a great addition and make it somewhat worth the microtransaction. But with the chance of this being a live service game and it having continuous support for a long time, my hope is that it's just going to continue to improve. Maybe in the future they can add features that make the game feel whole. Because let's be honest, the game does feel like it's missing its heart. There's nothing beating underneath that carcass. It's kind of hard to explain, but I hated Mortal Kombat 11. But I will be the first to admit that Mortal Kombat was a complete game. You got your money's worth in Mortal Kombat 11. This is not a complete game. It does not feel like a complete game. It does not function like a complete game. So with all of these issues, who's still playing this game? I am. I'm still playing it. But that would be... Recently, we just closed out on the first Pro Tour for the Mortal Kombat 1 scene. Sonic Fox winning Final Combat with Johnny Cage Chameleon, who could have guessed? And now we get to look back and see how everything played out and what was wrong with it. At the start of the game, the competitive scene was exciting, as it usually is for the start of a new game. Now, granted, we did have a Cyrax problem, which, if you ask me, he's not really the problem, since 90% of the cast was better with Cyrax assist. That's basically the only assist you saw for a lot of the tournaments at the start. Towards the end of the Pro Tour, it actually became just 2 main roster characters and 1 assist character. There was Chameleon was everywhere. The only characters you saw were Johnny Cage and Peacemaker, and 90% of the time it was Chameleon. So if you want to enter a tournament and you look at previous tournaments and you see nothing but 1 assist being used and maybe 2 characters being used, it's kind of daunting. It doesn't really give you a lot of motivation to go compete in a game where you're pigeonholed to play 1 or 2 characters. The balancing for this game has been all over the place. But the balancing was so all over the place for this game that Sonic Fox was forced to use Johnny Cage Chameleon because it was ultimately the best option. And Sonic Fox is known for playing the underdog characters. Sonic Fox has taken a lot of underdog characters that nobody really pays too much attention to and has won full tournaments with them. And they even did that in this combat series. So when you have a pro player that's been in the scene for as long as you can remember, being forced to play like the best character in the game, you know it's a problem, because that means ultimately there's really no choices. Well, you might be asking me, well, why does that matter if you're playing for money? Don't you want to play the best character in order to win? Which, yes you do, but what are you winning? How much money are you getting? Well, in Final Combat, the total pool was $200,000. Now, on the front end, that might seem like a lot, but when you break down the pool for each person that got in top 16 or what have you, if you're not top 3, you're not earning much. One thing that we had in the previous version of a NetherRealm game that we don't have in this one was crowd-funded and crowd-supported prize pools. So in this one, NetherRealm Studios / Warner Brothers has to just come up with the money, right? They probably pull some away from microtransactions, what have you. But if you look back to, say, Injustice 2, I remember specifically there were these gold skins that you could purchase that were $5, and that $5 would go directly to the prize pool for the competitive players. Hell, even the marketing for the Pro Tour was much better. It was much better for that game. I mean, they even had pro stops at GameStop. They had live interviews at the GameStop. I mean, I know it's not that big of a deal because not many people go to GameStop as much anymore, but it was something. Like, it was something. You got to see more of what the marketing was and advertising for the pro tournaments. And you have the entire 10 months this game has been out. I don't even remember seeing a single trailer personally, except for, okay, I think I saw one trailer. I think I saw one trailer for the entire time of this Pro Tour. And that's it. So it doesn't exactly fill the players with confidence that the game's not being advertised or marketed for its Pro Tour. The prize pools are so low that a lot of the players aren't even going to the tournaments. Most of the players that did play these games have actually just converted into content creation. They don't even enter in the tournaments, at least not most of them. Now, a lot of the time, the expenses are weighed off by advertisers. The problem is, Mortal Kombat
Hey, Candy King, how are you?
the least advertiser-friendly game to exist. The game's entire purpose is blood and gore, and it's so bad that even the content creators that try to support this game and play for their channel can't even show you the cool parts because they have to discolor everything just so they don't get demonetized. So when you have a game that's not friendly to advertisers, and it's not friendly to its competitors because of the balancing issues, and it's not good for the casual fan base because of the cameo system, I mean, you're not going to get much out of it. Granted, this game has been out since September, and it still has time to breathe and live and get more patches and more updates. This whole video really was rooted because of the entire discussion on why there's so little entries for Mortal Kombat's very first EVA. Well, Mortal Kombat 1's first EVA. I would like to argue that the game doesn't have a very long lifespan regardless of which iteration. There's a lot of hype in the first season, the first year, and then it dies off. And considering that this game has been around for as long as it has, since September of last year, and just now EVO's coming around, of course the numbers are not going to be as great as it initially would have been if the game came out 2 months ago. I think I just spit. It's extremely important for communication for a game with such a huge fan base. Without that, the game's just gonna crumble on its own feet. But Beta, why are you spending all this time just shitting on the game? I thought you liked Mortal Kombat. Thank you, Other Beta. I absolutely understand where you're coming from. Yes, I do love Mortal Kombat. And there is a reason why I'm shitting on this game. It's because I want it to be good. I want it to be the best it possibly can be. So what can they do to change it? Is there anything they can do to change the minds of casual players and competitors? So let's start with the cameo system. Now, I think the cameo system is fine. I think a lot of the cameos need to be buffed, but we're not talking about buffs and nerfs right now, because that's an entirely different conversation. But we're just going to talk about what we can do to help casual players come back to the game. Well, really, there's only one option. If they added a mode, it doesn't have to be the main mode, but if they added a mode that just took away and turned off the cameos, I think that would give enough reason for the casual players to come back and play the game. They can have their own separate ranked mode, their own separate casual mode, everything. Just turn the cameos off. Now, there is an issue with balancing when it comes to that. They have to have different animations for like combo breakers and whatnot, and fatal blows won't be the same. But if they were able to successfully make that happen, I'm sure a lot of players would come back and play the game. So let's talk about invasions. You know what? I say leave invasions, and the only thing I'm gonna ask, even though I find this shit to be boring, I ask that you at least make the grind worth it. Give me some some rewards. It makes me feel like, okay, I played all of these challenges, walked all around these maps on these little circles, but at the very least, I got this really cool gear piece or really cool skin for my favorite character. Something that looks like something I would pay for. I think if they made it more rewarding in Invasions, it wouldn't feel so bad. But that's not it. For the single player experience, I don't just want Invasions to improve. I want an entirely different game mode. Story's only 6 to 8 hours. Invasions is a grindy mess. There's nothing that really gives this game more identity, more of a reason to play it casually by yourself. Well, we could, in theory, add back the Mortal Kombat racing game. I thought that, even though it wasn't, better than Mario Kart, was an incredible addition to the game. I feel like they kind of strayed away from the super fun, like goofy, weird stuff that you could do, and just went for just all in on Invasions. If you look at a game like Tekken 8, they have a volleyball mode, which is hilarious. You don't have anything like that in Mortal Kombat. There's nothing that really gives you like this super goofy fun, let me put it on the living room TV, on the couch, and play this goofy mode with my friends. There's nothing there for that. And this title in this series is huge. There's no reason not to have something that gives you and your players to do other than punching each other in the face. Because at the end of the day, it's a fighting game.
With the speaker.
Everybody, a lot of people don't like fighting games. They don't play fighting games. Well, give them a reason. Give them a reason to buy this game so they can sit down and play with their friends and not feel stressed because they didn't block the love. Again, it doesn't have to be the Mortal Kombat Racer. Make it be something. It just anything else that makes the game feel alive, something that makes it feel like it has more content, more things to do. The next thing that I would tackle is the online mode. So, online practice, there's no reason for it to not be there. Lobby systems, there's no reason for it to not be there. If they gave us the online practice mode and the lobby system, that's the first half of how I would fix online. The second half is just the matchmaking in this game. It feels like it's like a worn down house. It's not built to code. The game's constantly desyncing. Now, it did have a huge issue with desyncing before. It's gotten much, much better. But I can't tell you how many times I have matched up or attempted to match up with somebody, accepted it, the game just doesn't sync. And sometimes when it desyncs, you take a loss for no reason. I shouldn't be punished over a bad netcode. Oh, and give us the Warrior Shrine, whatever the hell it is. Why is it there? Just don't put it in the game or put it in the game. Don't just tease us with some words on the screen that we have no idea what we're looking at. Now, granted, they did announce that we're going to have a big announcement on the 26th at the San Diego Comic-Con. That type of communication, just something to sink your teeth into, is enough to keep players playing. All we really need is, hey, we are aware of this, we are tackling this. They have done that on occasion, but there's also been a point where it's like a month and you don't hear anything. If this is supposed to be like the live service version of Mortal Kombat, if it's a live service game, give us live service updates. Tell us what's going on. Even if you don't know what's going on, tell us you're looking into it at the very least. But ultimately, those are the changes I would make to improve the game. I think if you tackle all of those things, which I know is a big ask, but I think if you tackled all of those things, you would make a lot of people happy, and you'd probably have some return customers. And again, I do say all of this from a place of love. Mortal Kombat has been a milestone for me. It is some of my best memories in my childhood. So I really just want this to be a good game. I want this to be a great game. But if you guys have any other suggestions on what you would want to change for this game to make it better, let me know down below. Be sure to like and subscribe, because I've easily sweat about 10 pounds while I've been recording this video. I'm sorry about the delay in videos. Life happens.
I rely on Medicare. For 30 years, drug companies relied on Mike Rogers, took over $1 million, bragged that they saw him as a champion, and voted against lower drug costs and to cut Medicare. Great for Mike Rogers, but a death sentence for me.
Looking for something delicious and affordable? Enjoy Kellogg's cereal with milk and fruit for less than $1.
Where am I? Holy shit, is that a samurai? Hey, I just got here, man. What's with the sword? Come on, I don't even have anything. That's not fair. Oh my god, is that Demon Slayer breathing? Wait. Well, there goes the budget. Over the years, we've seen good and bad games come and go. There's only been one game that gave us a truly cinematic experience. Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima. It's been 4 years since this game's release, and I just recently beat it on the PlayStation 5 for this video. By the time this video uploads, the PC version should have just dropped. There hasn't been a game this fun, beautiful, and creative in a very long time. So let's start the video with talking about the In this game, you are playing in the feudal era of Japan as a character named Jin. Better watch out! Jin Bob's gonna slice you with this big sword. Jin Sakai was raised by his uncle, Lord Shimura. He was taken in after his father was brutally murdered when he was a child. And your uncle raises you to be the ultimate samurai. One day, your land is invaded and a war is started by the Mongol Empire, who's led by General Khotun Khan. Khotun Khan. You know what? We're just gonna call him General Khan because I can't get his first name right. They invade Tsushima Island as you ride in with your uncle Lord Shimura and the rest of the samurai gang. In the heat of the battle, your uncle actually gets captured by General Khan, leaving you no choice but to face him in a 1v1 duel. You lose that fight and you're thrown off of a bridge. Soon after, you meet Yuna. For the remainder of the story, she's going to be the one that convinces you to fight like a thief in order to save your people. This is where the fun begins, because for the remainder of the story, Jin struggles with either honoring the samurai way his uncle raised him to believe in, or to fight like a thief, basically a ninja, that Yuna teaches him from this point forward. In this story, you spend your time liberating villages and gathering an army in order to take back your land and save your people. Every moment in this game truly feels like you're inside of a movie. Even the side quests feel unique and beautiful. You dive deep into complex emotions and sacrifices. It makes you do things that directly conflict with what you were raised to believe in. Jin does this because he sees no other way to win. And this is what creates a divide between him and his uncle. Lord Shimura is the leader of the samurai clan and is a man of great power. Defying him is not only defying the man that took you in as his own son, but is also defying every principle you were taught. You also witness other characters struggle to make hard decisions, such as Ishikawa and his star pupil, or even Ryozo with his straw hats. Each character you meet teaches you that life is made of hard choices, and to act on anger or sadness or fear is to risk everything you fought for. The only thing more beautiful than the character development in this game is the If there's anything that this game does better than other games, it would be its scenery. Even in the opening scene, you dive deep into this gorgeous beach world. The waves are crashing and the night is filled with fire and blood. One moment you're riding through a field of beautiful tall grass, and in the next moment you could be underneath a red leaf tree during a sunrise. Even after my second playthrough of this game, I am still amazed at just how beautiful each location really is. Sure, there's lots of games with
Hey, what's up?
worlds, but I can't think of a single game that maybe just
Hey, Maya
stop
forever.
and look around. By the way, guys, I'm filming this in a garage in the middle of the day, so if you see me sweating bullets, it's because I have like 3 layers of clothes on, and I'm hot as shit. You have the southern part of the map that's filled with warm weather and beautiful beaches. Then you have the middle of the map that's filled with fields and flowers. Then you have the northern part of the map that has these gorgeous snowy mountainsides. Each area is beautiful
You will
and
like.
unique in its
Thank you.
own way. This game even takes things
I
a step
appreciate it.
further, where you can find these specific locations where you can bow. And then frogs will either come out of the ground or dragonflies will appear over the water. You can even find foxholes where a fox will actually lead you to a statue where you
So
can
it
worship
seemed
and
really
get
nice.
benefits from it. Also, yes, you can
A lot of
pet the
people have been
fox.
saying
Look
that
at
lately.
Look at this cute little guy. Look at the little
Appreciate it.
little
Could be
guy.
because I'm
You
an
also
earth
have these
angel.
shrines that you can climb to get to the top of, where it's these really interesting obstacles. And when you get to the top, you're able to see this beautiful horizon of the map around you. Even the conversations and boss fights, they use an aspect ratio that's reminiscent of an old film. They use these black bars on the top and bottom of the screen to make it feel like it released in a movie theater rather than your console. This game really is a masterclass of its delivery and how immersive it is, especially the
served this country for over 41 years in the military. On January 6th, I felt violated.
Well, right now I'm checking out this this YouTuber talking about this game that I really like, and then after that I'm gonna start cleaning out my email because I got tons of beats that I need to get rid of. So I usually come on here, play them, get a listen, see if I'm inspired, and then I delete them because I don't plan on buying any of them.
Sekiro, or it's just another Assassin's Creed, and you would be right, except this game actually did it better. Sekiro players, please stop typing in the comments. I can see the hate already. There's really two different ways that you can approach enemies in this game. You can either fight them like a samurai, using your 4 different stances to fight the Mongols, or you can approach them like a ninja and take them out one by one. There's only specific story missions that actually require you to do it one way or the other, but whenever you're liberating the villages, they give you the freedom to do it the way that you want to do it. Each individual stance that you have works better against specific enemy types. You can
It's
swap
called
between them freely as you fight
Ghost of
multiple enemies
Tsushima.
at once. This
It's like
game
a
doesn't
samurai
hold your
ninja
hand
game.
while you're surrounded by enemies either. You're forced to learn how to use your camera and see all angles, so when someone comes to attack you, you're able to properly defend yourself. You also have a bow and arrow, and let's be honest, in most games, it's a bit overpowered. This game is the same in that regard, because you'll notice that using your bow and arrow will save you a lot of time and effort. You do get other weapons as well, but to avoid spoilers, we'll just leave it at the bow. Now, if you want to sneak around, there's a lot of options you can use. You can sneak through the grass and assassinate them one by one without raising the alarm, or you can actually use the environment around you to help assassinate the enemies. A lot of these villages have bears and other things that you can use to distract your enemies so you can kill them one by one. The combination of all of these combat styles is what makes you the Ghost of Tsushima. Ah, he said it. He said the title of the game. This game provides a lot in its story, world building, and combat. I'd be doing you a disservice if I didn't mention its addition. So while this game has a very satisfying single-player mode, it actually has a very interesting multiplayer mode. This isn't your typical multiplayer either. Legends is a mode where you can
sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. I don't really have a set time when I go live. I just go live at random, and whoever pops in, pops in.
These chapters require that you have exactly 4 people, no more or no less. The reason why it's set up this way is because each person has a specific role in these chapters. But you do need to communicate and follow instructions, or you'll spend way too many fucking hours jumping from one platform to another. For the love of God, wait for me to jump before you jump. I'll honestly say this is my favorite online mode that I've played in a really long time. So once you beat the story mode, be sure to get some friends together and play the online mode. And
Yeah,
make sure
probably
you communicate
probably
and save
school
yourself a lot
is
of
back
time.
in
One
session.
feature that I see this game has done better than any other game I've played is
Where are
this
you from?
camera mode. As you can see, I spent some time changing one scene into an entirely different scene. You can change the weather, the wind speed, the colors, the filters. You can even take Jen out of the image entirely. I could easily spend hours just trying to create a cool background for my PC while using this tool. Okay, now I'm going to transition into my final thoughts. My final...
You're from Florida. That's what's up.
With the PC version releasing,
What part of Florida? I'm in Detroit, Michigan. Well, right now I'm actually in Lansing, but I'm from Detroit.
Again, myself included. This game has so much depth and so much cinematic beauty that I really haven't seen anything like it since its release. Sure, God of War, Spider-Man, and Baldur's Gate 3 have a lot to offer, but none of them have really felt like a cinematic masterpiece like this game has. It really makes you appreciate the art of games and how much passion goes into a well-made game. The characters are well written, and the world is beautiful and jaw-dropping. The gameplay is engaging, and the online is unique and different. The PC version of this game will actually allow you to play the game in Japanese dub. So for all of you anime nerds out there that only watch anime and sub, now's your chance to play this game in a more natural design. Not only does the new PC version offer updated graphics, but it also allows you to play the game in the new Kurosawa mode, which basically means it's going to be in the style of like an old Japanese film. And not to mention, they're even adding an extension to Iki Island. But I'll let you guys explore that on your own. So after everything I've told you, can you tell me this game is not the epitome of cinematic gaming? You can't. You can't tell me nothing. So get out there and save your home from the Mongol dogs and become the best samurai, ninja, ghost person. But that's all I've got for you guys. I really appreciate you watching the video. You'll notice that I'm wearing a mustache. I don't typically have a mustache, but if you're a returning viewer, you'll know in my last video, I did make a promise that I would shave it if I got enough subs and likes, and that didn't happen. And so now my fiance doesn't even want to look me in the eyes anymore, so if you guys could make up for that, I would greatly appreciate it. Okay, it's your fault. It's your fault she doesn't love me.
What?
Is there an instance where you feel you said something that appeared to be true to you at the time, and knowing what you knew?
Yes, I think I was a little dismissive of the men going their own way, because I think I called them pathetic weasels, and I had my reasons for that. My reasons were, roughly speaking, that
Who are the men going their own way?
well, they're a group of people, mostly on the net, who've been burned in their relationships, or who conceptualize themselves as having been burned in their relationships, and they believe that the legal structure, in particular, in Western countries, is so tilted against.
Giving your child a better future doesn't have to be a challenge. It's about finding the right school. A school that gives your child every opportunity to succeed. Ready to open the door to a world of possibilities? Visit Windermere.
That and divorce settlement, that it's safer for men not to establish permanent relationships with women, not to cohabit with them, ever. And they're a large movement. Now, how large they are, I don't know, but they're large enough. And they have what I would regard as an undue influence over relatively bitter and resentful young men who haven't had great success in the dating market, and who are looking for a rationale to write off all women because they're so hurt by their continual rejection. And that is not good for those young men. And so the reason that I disparage the men going their own way was because I had seen the pernicious effect, these are often older guys, the pernicious effect of their world-weary philosophy on young men. Now, these guys think that they're just warning them, and they are warning them, but they're not just warning them. Now, the reason I regret calling them pathetic weasels is because they also have a point. I do believe that the court systems are staggeringly anti-male, absurdly, horribly anti-male. And I've seen my own clients, some of them who are really, really decent, hardworking, family-oriented people, demolished by the court systems. And so the men going their own way have a point. And so I'm sorry that I called them pathetic weasels, but I outlined my reasons, and so yes, I do regret that. I have to be careful because I do have a satirical, dark, satirical sense of humor, and I can utter epithets, let's say, for the sake of punctuating a point, while simultaneously forgetting that 150,000 people will listen to it. So I regret that.
I have a funny clip of Peterson I'll show next. But to comment on his video, people often see men going their own way as one thing, when in reality it's different for every man, since all it is a philosophy. A philosophy that prioritizes self-preservation. To give examples, some men choose to get passports. Some men choose to only date religious women. Some men choose to stop dating women entirely. Some men choose to date, but not get married. Some men choose to not have kids. People disagree with it because they don't understand what it is. But even those that disagree still agree with a lot of the main points, despite their general lack of understanding of what men going their own way actually means. Now, let's take a look at that funny clip. But keep in mind this video is edited, and he did not actually say these things.
Women are a tremendous amount of responsibility and trouble because they can't do anything. And you have to be like seriously in love with them to do right by them. They get resentful and bitter and passive aggressive, and they take things out on their subordinates, and you know, it's like mayhem and no time flat, and nothing works. Like if they don't make the hairs stand up in the back of your neck, you are not paying attention. They're full of flaws. They act badly. They're a cancer on the face of the planet. It'd be better if they didn't exist at all. It's like you don't have to put up with any unpleasant, you don't have to put up with any unnecessary, unpleasant nonsense from women. It's not necessary. You can compare their behavior in some ways to pack animals like dogs, which is why they like dogs and get along with dogs. They understand each other, you know.
You think they are really missing sort of like a key component of what life is, right?
I do. I really believe that. I mean, I think that it's like if you took random sets of men and women out of the population and you said, you bet on who was more passive aggressive. Well, if you bet on the woman, you'd be right 60% of the time. But that's a significant difference.
The proof is in the pudding, so to speak.
Well, if you're not willing to accept that sort of thing as proof, you've got to also ask, like, well, okay, what would you allow to falsify your theory?
Hate speech never ends with you.
Yeah, I know.
It's just endless.
One thing after another.
Because if you were actually thinking about your family, the last thing you would do is leave a man who you said is a perfect man, break up his family, break up your children's relationship with the father, and take a bunch of money, unless you didn't actually give a shit about that.
GMC Sierra. It's the truck. GM employee program participants with a current eligible GMC lease can get the